Let's look at how to design a simple naming ceremony card. So you need to select the paper size by going to the top right hand side. You will find 3 dotted vertical line. You press on it, then you press image size. Under the custom, you will find width, you will find height. I want us to design it on A6, and A6 is the size that you can use to paste on motorbikes. Normally you see some smaller sizes that are printed and pasted on motorbikes. That's the A6 size, and the size is 1241 pixels. So you delete and you type 1241 pixels by the height, which is 1754. So this is the size or the measurement for the paper A6. So you say OK. Now let's delete the default text. Then you can add your image. Select this baby. So I will insert my image. If your image is not positioned well, please do that. Assuming I insert and the image is like this, I will hold and drag it and position it very well. Good. So now we can add a background color. You can use an image as your background color. So let's duplicate the image. I want to duplicate the image, so I will press on the image, then press on the middle polygon 6-sided icon, then I will press on copy. So when you copy, it will duplicate the image. Then you drag it down. Good. You can stretch it by holding the down resize button to drag it, not too much, just to cover the remaining portion. Good. So we are going to make the image somehow lighter, so you look for opacity. It shouldn't be too original because we want to add text over there, so we will reduce the opacity by tapping on the minus sign until we are okay with the opacity. So I can hold and drag it out. You see that? So I'll make it maybe 35. Then I'll say OK. Then I will add my text. Then I'll say OK. And I position it here. Then I'll change the color of the text. Let's make it red there. Okay. We can change the font as well. I'll use Alex brush, and I'll say OK. Then increase it. Wow. Then just press undo to bring it back. Good. So you center it. You see that there is a space between the ceremony and then the outdooring. So I will use the line spacing. I'll press on the line spacing to reduce it so that it will get closer to each other. If you are okay, then you leave it, then you accept it. So let's add another shape. So by pressing on the polygon, you tap on shape, then you accept. You will stretch the shape to occupy the image. We will introduce another opacity, but let's first of all add a color. Good. So if you're okay with this color, you leave it like that, but if not, you can change it. Like I said, we can select our color from the picture. So let's add a color by pressing on the plus button. Then you press the color selector, select the image of the child, then you select his body, the body color. We want the body color, or maybe the facial color that is somehow light. Then you say okay. You can do adjustments here before you accept it. You can do adjustment here before you accept it. Then you say okay. Good. So let's make it a little bit lighter, but let's accept it before and introduce opacity. Let's reduce it so that the image that is hidden can be seen. I guess so. We can make it say 80. So we accept it. Now let's introduce another text. You add and type Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Hashim. Let's say Hashim. Then you say okay. You can stretch it. Then you continue with your text. You add the text. Then you will write. Then you say okay. So you can reduce the size, center it. Here you have to be very creative. In designing, you need to be very creative. There are some skills that you will not be taught in class, but it takes you yourself some time to be creative. And one thing is that you need to always try to copy what I am doing. Try to emulate the same thing, and with time you will be a master of your own. So I will change the font style. So I'm looking for Allura regular. Then I say okay. Good. Then we'll put the venue. We'll add a text for the venue. So you just type venue. Say Saka. Let me use my village, Tampion. Lemam Yili. Tampion Lemam Yili. Okay, so that's it. So I can add some flair to it by adding a background color. I'm adding a background color. I'm searching for the background color. I'll make it a red background color. I'll increase the left padding. I'll increase the left padding a little, like 40. Then the right padding as well. Then the radius, I'll make the radius. I'll increase the radius. Good. That's okay. So I can duplicate my design. I can duplicate the text by copying and then dragging it down. Or I'll delete it and rather go back to the background. Go back to the background, and then the bottom padding, I will increase it. Sorry, this is top padding. I'll increase the bottom padding. You understand? I'll increase the bottom padding. Then I'll accept it. I'll add the text and place the next text there. Then I'll put my date. So you reposition it very well. Then you are done. So let's save our work by pressing on the save button and pressing on save as image. Then you save to gallery.